Hello, today I'm gonna talk about my top 15 outlaw singer-songwriters. I couldn't do 10, I had to squeeze it into a 15 list. These are mavericks, outlaws, whether from folk music, indie, or leaning into country music. These are artists who go their own way, who don't chase trends, who have often done the opposite of what is expected of them. I think all these people have a high level of integrity and they are obsessed with the quality of song. I've tried to balance the list between male and female, but these are my favorites. Some may surprise you, you may disagree with others. Maybe I left someone off, you can let me know in the comments. Two people I considered putting on here was Rodriguez and Phil Oakes, but I just couldn't squeeze them on. Maybe if I had done a top 20, but I decided only to do 15. One thing though, I will do an outlaw country list at one point with like Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Hank Williams, Emmylou Harris, people like that. So don't blow a gasket or whatever if you think I left someone off here. Also, if you want to check out some of these, I made a Spotify playlist and I included 2 tracks from each person. I was gonna include one, but it was hard, so I decided to do 2. At number 15, we have Bill Callahan, and he was in the band Smog, and he also does solo. Callahan's deep baritone and minimalist writing strip songs to their core, leaving only the essential truth. His stories are slow burn, lo-fi epics. His strength lies in the quiet authority of his delivery. So one of the songs that I put on my playlist is called Drover, and it features in the final episode of the 2018 Netflix series Wild Wild Country, about the community surrounding the mystic Osho. I don't know, this song just rocks. It is such a good song. I love his delivery. I just love it. He's got other great songs, Riding for the Feeling, Jim Kane, many others. He is understated, unflinching, earthy, detached, kind of deadpan but enigmatic. There's this clarity to his words and delivery. His background is in lo-fi, more noise folk, and he's really blossomed over the years. His work sounds like he's in some room singing to you, warning you, trying his best to steer you away from his path. There's something quite dire about it, but I love it. At number 14, we have Sharon Van Etten. Van Etten is an American singer-songwriter, musician, and actress. She blends vulnerability with defiance, singing about survival with both fragility and power. Her music is personal yet universal, anchored by raw emotional truth. Some of her great tracks are Have You Seen, Every Time the Sun Comes Up, 17, but I adore her cover of The End of the World. It is sublime, it just is great. If you like the band Cat Power, you'll love her. I think they're in a similar vein. She is emotive and vulnerable, kind of brooding. The songs are very confessional, like someone sitting cross-legged on a carpet in a living room is, singing a song to you on a guitar. She is like revealing her sorrows, failures, pain. There are very simple arrangements in most of her work. It's very broken down. I think there's this vibe of being caught in a rut, thinking your dreams might come true only to fail, but yeah, she's great. Number 13, we have Simon Joyner. Joyner is an American singer-songwriter from Omaha, Nebraska. He writes like a poet lost in an attic, crafting songs that feel like private letters. His lo-fi recordings only add to their intimacy and authenticity. So I think his work feels unpolished in the best way, more like a diary than a product. He's been working from 1993 to the present, so quite a long time, which is interesting because fame has kind of eluded him. In the 1990s, Beck listed Joyner in his top 10 albums for Rolling Stone, and he is the best songwriter you've probably never heard of. I adore his evening song to Sally. I think it's his magnum opus. It's just a great, great song. It has not only this feeling of like a lost love, but also this weight of being a kind of rambler gambler type of person and the problems that stem from that, and also like talking about his parents and kind of how their 2 peculiar personalities informed who he is. Some other great tracks: You're Running Away, David, Hot Tears, Flying Dreams, One for the Catholic Girls, so many great songs. He also has a great 45 collection where he covers other outlaw singer-songwriters, many of which are on this list. It's called To Almost No One, singer-songwriting series, volumes 1 to 5. I'll put an image on the screen here. If you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it. It is amazing. His lyrics are contemplative, sardonic, of the road, and he feels very Nebraska. He just feels that way when you listen to him. It's very expansive. It's like big sky and a yearning for something, a certain acceptance of his plight, just emptiness. I don't know how else to explain it. At number 12, we have PJ Harvey. The indie darling of the 90s, Harvey transcended that mantle. She devised categorization, shifting between blues, folk, punk, and gothic balladry without losing her identity. Her songwriting often carries a dangerous, erotic edge. So Polly Jean Harvey is one of the few UKers on my list, and at face value she might seem like an odd choice, but allow me to clarify. Her songs like The Wind are impeccably crafted. That one is about this eruptive, lethal, seductive delivery, which is something she excels at. Another track, The Devil, which I really, really love, is almost like a child's view of the devil if the child was 55 years old. She also does a duet with Tom York, the frontman of Radiohead, This Mess We're In. And she never repeats herself in her music, someone like David Bowie or someone who's constantly evolving. She's almost like a chameleon. Her words are jagged, restless, visceral. She's witty and provocative, and like I said, rather erotic at times. There's this taut uneasiness in her work, like walking a tightrope made of folklore or something. That's the only way to describe it, but yeah, she's awesome. Number 11, we have Mickey Newbury. Newbury's songs are cinematic tragedies, rich with imagery and heartache. San Francisco Mabel Joy is one of the most heartbreaking songs of all time, and it still cuts deep decades later. He turns sadness into art without sentimentality. He epitomizes the world-weary Texan. His San Francisco Mabel Joy, like I said, is heartbreaking. It does me in every time I hear it. I don't know what it is about it. It just, there's like a certain point in the song when you realize the bleakness of it and it just hits. If you've ever loved someone and lost them, this song might wreck you. So beware. Joan Baez, Kenny Rogers, John Denver have all covered him, many others. Another song that he is famous for is Just Dropped In to See What Condition My Condition Was In, which was made famous by the first edition, featuring lead vocals by Kenny Rogers. His version, Newbury's version, is also very interesting. Not as funky, but very cool. In 1968, Newbury saw enormous success with 4 top 5 songs across 4 charts, and this feat has never been repeated. He has 16 studio albums and countless other people doing his songs. His words are tender, wistful, imagistic, but teetering on the edge. They certainly hit that outlaw vibe, especially when he sings them. And he passed in 2002. Number 10, we have Jerry Jeff Walker. Walker has the charm of a beautiful loser. His music swings between tender reflection and rowdy mischief. His songs come from honky-tonks, back roads, and dusty hotel rooms. So is he progressive country or outlaw folk? I would say more roadman. He writes and sings about the down and outs, but he does this with a tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. He is most famous for Mr. Bojangles. The song is about this alcoholic tap dancing drifter who he met in a New Orleans jail. The live version is the best version in my opinion. He's also known for Sangria Wine, LA Freeway, Gypsy Songman, Up in Smoke, many others. This guy is the real deal. He's uplifting, holding up a middle finger to the system with a smile, if that makes sense. Back when I drank alcohol, I would have certainly have been friends with him. You know, hanging out in the honky-tonk or the bar or something and just getting into trouble. He passed in 2020 at the age of 78, unfortunately. Number 9, we have Natalie from Weyes Blood. Known for her lush, cinematic blend of folk, chamber pop, and psychedelia, her music often channels a 70s singer-songwriter vibe, think Joni Mitchell or Karen Carpenter, but with a modern experimental twist. She's praised for her rich, contralto voice, meticulous arrangements, and introspective, often apocalyptic lyrics. I think her big hit is Andromeda, but there are many songs. Children of the Empire, A Lot's Going to Change, Twin Flame, Can't Go Home, Suddenly, Hearts Aglow, many great songs. She's opened for Beck and Father John Misty, two artists I considered putting on here, but I decided against it for different reasons. Her emotional, honest, narrative-driven, melancholic songs are haunting. They just are. It's reflective, mournful, evocative, nuanced, emotionally rich, and even philosophical at times. If you took away all the experimental production and just had her and her acoustic guitar or piano, it would be easy to see. Anyway, she's kind of art rock, but I definitely think she belongs on here. And why didn't I put Joni Mitchell or someone like that on this one? I am going to do a top 10 folk artists, which will probably include her and people like Nick Drake on there. Number 8, we have Jackson C. Frank. Frank's brief career was plagued by tragedy, but his songs shimmer with beauty and strength. As a child, he survived a house fire that killed his mother and left him severely burned. He suffered from severe mental health issues, including depression and paranoia, which, combined with financial instability, made it nearly impossible for him to continue his career. He made only one album, self-titled and produced by Paul Simon. But that one album is filled with excellent songs. Probably his most known song is Blues Run the Game, but I love The Visit, I love Milk and Honey, many other great songs. He's been covered by Simon and Garfunkel, Counting Crows, Bert Jansch, Nick Drake, and many others. For the song Milk and Honey, Fairport Convention, Sandy Denny covered it, whom he dated for a while, fun fact. And Nick Drake also covered it. The song The Visit was covered by Simon Joyner on his To Almost No One 45 series. Frank spent his later life homeless and destitute and died in 1999 from a combination of pneumonia and cardiac arrest. I think you can see Jackson C. Frank as the Syd Barrett of folk, perhaps. His story is pretty tragic, but the few songs he left behind are quite astounding. It's a shame we didn't get more. Number 7, we have Guy Clark. Clark was a master craftsman. His narratives are rooted in detail, turning everyday lives into myth. He released more than 20 albums, and his songs have been recorded by countless artists. His most famous song is Desperado's Waiting for a Train, but he has made many other great songs. You could say his songs are like storytelling, plain spoken, observant, and sincere. They definitely carry sorrow. I think a lot of the people on this list do, and I also think that to be a good singer-songwriter, you kind of have to. But I think he embodies the core traits of the outlaw tradition. He prioritized craft over trend. He is an everyman with a rugged personality. His music is rootsy, if that makes sense. He passed in 2016 from lymphoma at 74, but the New York Times described him in its obituary as King of the Texas Troubadours. Number 6, we have Aimee Mann. Mann combines sharp lyrical wit with understated delivery, often turning emotional wreckage into dry, sardonic beauty. Pop hooks, deep character sketches, strength and precision. Every song feels deliberate and exacting. Now, I think she is kind of underrated. Her song Save Me was nominated for an Academy Award and a Grammy. She has many other great songs: Wise Up, Humpty Dumpty, Lost in Space, Momentum, You Do, Voices Carry when she was with Till Tuesday, the 80s band. But I think she's most famous for the Magnolia soundtrack. She's had a long career of interesting albums filled with beautiful songs. I think the Magnolia period was kind of her peak as far as popularity, but she has continued to this day, and she explores dark subjects such as mental illness and suicide, underdogs. She's sharp, literate, ironic, tender, cerebral. Sometimes she can be biting, and she's very, very clever. Her songs often dive into emotional pain, disillusionment, and personal conflict. She has been named one of the greatest living songwriters by NPR and Paste magazine. So if you don't know her, you should check her out. Number 5, we have Jackson Browne. Jackson Browne is an American singer-songwriter who emerged from the 1970s Southern California folk rock scene, known for blending confessional lyrics with melodic folk and rock arrangements. His songs like The Pretender and Doctor My Eyes explore personal struggles, heartbreak, and social commentary, often reflecting moral ambiguity and the complexities of modern life. So many people don't know this, but he wrote Take It Easy, Glenn Frey helped him finish it, and the Eagles recorded it for their debut single and album. He also wrote These Days, which was made famous by Nico, and he wrote it when he was only 16. Other great songs, like I said, Doctor My Eyes, The Pretender, Running on Empty, Somebody's Baby, Late for the Sky, so many songs. He has resisted commercial pressures, writing deeply personal material rather than chasing hits. It's kind of funny, when I was a kid, I heard Doctor My Eyes. I didn't really like it. It just sounded like easy listening AM radio crap to me. I probably heard it in my dad's truck or somewhere. But as I grew older, I started coming across his other songs and the covers of his other songs. And now I just think he's amazing. Number 4, we have Kris Kristofferson. Kristofferson brought a literary sensibility to country songwriting, weaving novelistic detail into simple chord changes. He wrote for others as brilliantly as for himself. He's good because he proved that country music could be intellectual. Most people see him as a country artist, but I think he leans more into folk, kind of masquerading as country. And I put him on here because I think he transcends country. And there's really too much to say here. Singer, songwriter, actor, veteran, etc. His Wikipedia page is like a book if you want to check it out. I think my favorite track from him is Casey's Last Ride. I also love Sunday Morning Coming Down. Me and Bobby McGee is probably his most famous song, most known by Janis Joplin, the cover. For the Good Times, Best of All Possible Worlds, Loving Her Was Easier Than Anything I'll Ever Do Again, Nobody Wins, Help Me Make It Through the Night. So many songs. His voice was rugged, world-weary, gravelly, weathered. His songs are poetic, soulful, introspective, rebellious, authentic. He was also a member of the country music supergroup The Highwaymen between 1985 and 1995. He died in 2024 at 88, and I have to say that one really hurt. David Lynch, Kris Kristofferson, Leonard Cohen, these are the ones that really affected me when they passed. I saw Kristofferson and Merle Haggard perform together in Portland, Oregon on April 2nd, 2009 at the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall, and it was just amazing. Such a good concert. At number 3, we have Townes Van Zandt. Van Zandt was the poet of loneliness, writing songs so perfect they feel inevitable. He balanced the romantic and the tragic, often in the same verse. He is the quintessential lost poet on the lonely highway. He spent most of his life in bars, music clubs, colleges, and folk venues and festivals, lodging in motel rooms or homes of friends. He suffered from drug addiction and alcoholism and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. But he left so many great songs, just so many. To Live Is to Fly, Waiting Around to Die, If I Needed You, Poncho and Lefty, Kathleen, I'll Be Here in the Morning, St. John the Gambler, so many great songs. He is haunting, so haunting. Melancholic, bleak, timeless. His songwriting crackles with beauty and intensity. He passed on New Year's Day, 1997, from a cardiac arrhythmia stemming from his years of substance abuse, heroin, and alcohol. Steve Earle, who considered Van Zandt a mentor, once called him the best songwriter in the whole world. And I'll stand on Bob Dylan's coffee table in my cowboy boots and say it. I also consider putting Steve Earle on here, but I just think he barely misses the cut. But Townes Van Zandt is one of my favorite artists, and might have been number 1 if the other 2 songwriters weren't just even more influential. At number 2, we have Bob Dylan. Dylan's catalog is vast, restless, and wildly uneven, but when he's great, he's untouchable. He's the trickster poet who reshaped the American songbook. His greatness lies in his fearlessness and his ability to bend language to his will. My favorite track of his is Knocking on Heaven's Door. This track alone might be one of the greatest songs ever written. Tangled Up in Blue, Like a Rolling Stone, Shelter from the Storm, All Along the Watchtower. I could list them all day, but those are my favorites. He embodies the spirit of independence, social critique, and narrative honesty. He tells vivid, unvarnished stories of marginalized people, social unrest, and personal struggle. He is the definition of the tramp or vagabond, especially in his early years. Dylan consistently defied expectations and always went his own way. If you want proof of his outsider credentials, watch his performance in the Netflix documentary The Greatest Night in Pop, the recording of We Are the World. It is hilarious because everyone else is a big pop star, and when it comes time to record his solo, he just looks super uncomfortable. This is not his process. You can tell they have to go through it many times, and you just need to watch it. He definitely does not belong amongst all of those other pop singers. It's a quintessential fish out of water experience there, I think. Number 1, we have Leonard Cohen. So Cohen's career was more consistent than Dylan's, marked by ruthless quality control and long periods between releases. His songs blend sensuality, spirituality, and cynicism, always with precise poetic language. Yeah, I think he beats out Dylan just because of his quality control. And I do think he has more songs, in my opinion, that are stronger. Some of my favorites include Avalanche, Hallelujah, Suzanne, Bird on a Wire, Everybody Knows. I love Everybody Knows. Famous Blue Raincoat, another tearjerker. The Sisters of Mercy, Tower of Song, So Long Marianne, Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye. I love the track Anthem, especially the live version on Live in London, one of my favorite tracks by him. In the darkest times in my life, Songs of Love and Hate and the songs of Leonard Cohen were like life preservers for me. So many people were influenced by him. His first 7 albums are near perfect. In the 80s, it was a little rocky, but even on his rocky albums, I think he has 3 or 4 great songs, so he's still batting pretty good. And I also think he's one of the few on this list who crafted classic albums later in his life. His last few albums were amazing, and I think he outdoes Dylan in that respect. His songs have lyrical honesty and existential storytelling about love, desire, spiritual longing, and moral ambiguity. Deeply personal stories and struggles. He had a complex outsider persona, and he inspired generations of songwriters. But I just think he's in a class all his own. There's something about his work that really hits the mystical side of my life. I think he was definitely a mystic, especially in his early years. There is a lot of veiled imagery that he includes that I think is very mystical and kind of occult. I just think he's great, and yeah, that's all I got for this list. Like I said, I'll do a top 10 or top 15 country list for Outlaws, and also I will do a top 10 folk artist list, probably 10. But that's all I got. If you think I left anybody off of this, you can put it down below. Or if there's someone you really love that I included that you were surprised, you can also put that down below. But that's all I got. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.